Hey there, Gemini. Welcome to your reading for the month of June 2025. Happy birthday to June Geminis out there. You have this Leo card. It says courage. It says boost your courage so you can put yourself out there in a bigger way. You have this inner goddess card. It says express your divine feminine energy and loving wisdom will transform your life. So definitely a good time to be courageous. You know, we just had Saturn today is moving into Aries, and today I'm recording this on the 24th. It'll be published on the 25th, so technically the day after. But it's a great time to be bold, assertive, courageous, confident, really make things happen. The other thing I would say with this Saturn and Aries for you, Gemini, is that telling yourself you are a finisher, right? Seeing things through to the end. So if you're going to be starting anything important over the next 3 years, then I would make sure that these are things that you complete, that you see all the way through to the end. And that is where your success will come from. We have the Five of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Empress in your current general energies. I feel like the Five of Pentacles, I just feel like you feel like you're never going to have something. We go Five of Swords to the Moon, and so something could feel out of reach for you. With the Five of Pentacles is feeling left out in the cold, of course. But, of course, this is not true. Whatever it is that you feel like you're missing out on, that's really the feeling I get from this card. I'm not getting like traditional Five of Pentacles energy. It's more just saying to me that you feel like you're going to miss out on something, or you're worried that you're going to never have something that you want and desire in your life. But you have great cards here. You have the Wheel of Fortune, Empress, Star, Knight of Cups. Definitely this could be you finding a way to get whatever it is that you want. It could be love with the Knight of Cups, but it could be anything. Next, you have the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune can, of course, represent a change in your fortunes or a turnaround in your fortunes. So I do feel that there could be a change in your fortunes this month. The Wheel of Fortune is usually a good card, and it can usually represent good luck coming in for you. You've been getting all these very lucky cards with me for a while, and, of course, you have Jupiter in your sign, so it will be leaving your sign in the middle of the month, but, you're still going to benefit from the luck that could be coming in because of Jupiter. With the Wheel of Fortune, the trick with the card is we have to, number one, match the energy of what we want. There's this snake right here, and the snake is our vibrations, so you have to give off a good vibe. You also have to double down on the good stuff and get rid of the bad stuff very quickly in your life. And if you pay attention to what's working and you do more of what works, then your fortunes will turn in your favor. You have the Empress. The Empress, of course, is abundance. It also says you're very attractive at this time, Gemini. So if you are looking for love, I feel you need to get attention. You have the Hermit and the Star. The Hermit has the star in his lantern, but he is keeping that star hidden, right? So you have to shine your light bright in the world. You have to get out of the house to find a person. And obviously you're attractive enough to be able to attract a person into your life. I always say only the most attractive people watch Minnow Tarot. People that don't, I don't know. I feel sorry for them. But what I would say here is, again, you're obviously attractive. You watch Minnow Tarot, so get out of the house, go to the bar, go somewhere. Don't meet people at the bar. Go get a hobby and take a class and meet someone who's actually doing something with their lives, right? And if you do that, things will go very well. I also feel very good about money for some reason. You don't have a lot of money cards here. And I mean, you have the Five of Pentacles, which is like a bad money card, but I don't know. I feel like as we clarify, I kind of feel that money could be getting better for you at this time as well, which is great. So let's see what comes up here, Gemini, and let's see. With the Five of Pentacles, you have the Knight of Cups. Like I said, probably love. So some of you might feel like you are never going to find the love of your life going down this way, or maybe you feel like you're too old or too young or whatever the case may be. But I do feel like there could be a knight in shining armor coming in for you here, and so I would put yourself out there. There definitely could be love. With the Wheel of Fortune, you have the Two of Cups, perfect match coming in for you. So, I feel like this is good. Two of Cups is usually different than your usual type. I'm pretty sure you get this card with me a lot in regards to love. So Two of Cups is usually a person that you wouldn't normally go for, but not like in a bad way. We're talking like in a good way. And, they could be a little bit different. The other weird message I'm getting here, Gemini, is if you have your eye on someone, I feel like it's like some of you are saying to yourself that you don't match the person, but it's almost like you are saying that you need to make some changes so that you can match the type of person that you want. Even if you don't have your eye on a person, it's like I feel like you're realizing that to get what you want, you have to match it. And I don't know if that's helpful in any way, but it seems to me like you could be making those changes, right? If you want a person who's disciplined and hardworking, you also have to be disciplined and hardworking in some way, right? And so I feel it's like you're doing those things, if that makes sense. With the Empress, you have the Queen of Wands. Yes, card of seduction. You could be very seductive at this time. Like you could be a little bit irresistible right now, Gemini, and I definitely get that feeling. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Sun come up in this reading. And if we do get the Sun, that would be very good. It would also pretty much say that you are irresistible. The other thing is that what you might not realize here, Gemini, is that you could be irresistible to just anything that you're trying to attract. Like if you're trying to attract money or something else or health or whatever, now could be a really good time to do that because, your energy might really be very attractive. You're attracting things in. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have the Serendipity card. It says, bright new prospects are on the horizon. Love it. You have this Knight card. It says triumph over adversity. Yeah, a lot of people in the month of June have had these cards that basically say the same thing. A lot of people have had the Ace of Swords. A lot of people have had these cards that say they're overcoming obstacles. So if you've been dealing with any obstacles or challenges, you could really be overcoming those things. I also feel there are a lot of bright new prospects on the horizon with that Serendipity card. You have the Hermit, the Five of Swords, and the Star. The Hermit has the Star in his lantern, and like I always say, the Hermit has put himself in isolation because he's been hurt, and he needs to get out of isolation. He needs to kind of like open up to the world and get out into the world, and that's what I would do here with the Hermit, is like I feel that you need to expose yourself, not literally. I don't want anyone getting arrested, Gemini, but you need to put yourself out on display in a legal way is what we're talking about here. I don't need to see any minnows on the news, right? So let's not do that. But any way you could put yourself out there would be a good thing to do. Empress and the Star is all about shining bright. Again, I hope the Sun comes up in this reading because to me, Empress, Sun, and the Star, to get those three cards in a reading is like a glow up, or it just says you are glowing. The Empress and the Star definitely says you are glowing. You are getting attention. And the Queen of Wands, it says you're very attractive at this time, but you could be attracting anything. If you want more business, more success, those are all things that you could be attracting. You have the Five of Swords. I feel like some of you have to heal from some sort of past heartbreak. So if you've had a heartbreak or a difficult period of time or whatever, Five of Swords, Three of Swords could say that you've been dealing with some challenges or difficulties with people, and you need to heal those things. Three of Swords is about healing your own heart. Those three swords are in your own heart. So I feel it would be a great time to heal, to forgive yourself. The Three of Swords is all about forgiveness or forgiving things inside of yourself. And it's something personal. I think sometimes people say the Three of Swords is a heartbreak, and it's involving other people, but the Three of Swords is really about you. And those swords are in your own heart, right? So you have to heal yourself with that energy, and it could be some sort of separation that you're healing from. You have the Star, very good. Star definitely says you're shining bright at this time, but you have to do it. The Star is also a card of looking at your whole life. The Star is about having a North Star and using that star as your guiding light. So, it's my card of having a big picture vision of your life so that you can follow that big picture vision and accomplish it. The Star, she's also pouring this water here. This is the pool of universal consciousness, and these waves or ripples are going out onto this pool. And so she is kind of like sending ripples out into the universe. She's like telling the universe what she wants, or she's asking the universe for something. And that's kind of popping into my head. I feel like a lot of you have been asking for something, but it's taken a long time. I say this because we have the Moon here. this right here is like wishing for something, but then the moon is like the journey you have to go on to get it. But sometimes I think the moon can take a long time, right? So it's like maybe you've been single for a long time, and maybe that's why you're thinking that you're not going to have something you want in love. But it could be any area of your life as well. The trick with the moon is the moon says don't stop. The moon comes up, the moon goes down, the sun comes up, right? It's temporary, even though it might not seem like it. With the hermit, you have the hermit. So basically everything I said. I also feel like you could be attracting a hermit. You could be attracting a person where you're like, how the heck is this person single? Like, you could be attracting a real good person, but sometimes I think we almost get weirded out when we find a good person that's single, because it makes us think, how is this person single, right? And so don't think that. Maybe this person has just been in hermit mode. Maybe they've just been working on something, behind the scenes or whatever. With the Five of Swords, you have the King of Cups. Yeah, it could be a very emotionally in touch person. Doesn't have to be a water sign. Could be any sign that's coming in for you. But King of Cups has very deep emotions. He's sitting in the middle of the deep ocean, and the story of the card is that he has explored his emotions to a very deep level, and because of that, he is very emotionally stable. And so a lot of you could be attracting a person who's very in touch with their emotions. Now, I always say that does not mean this person's going to be crying on your shoulder every single day. That's not the type of emotion that this person expresses. They are just good at communicating their emotions, and they're very straightforward. With the Star, you have the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is a card of conviction. It says when you know that you will be successful, when there is no other way than for you to be successful, that's when you'll be successful. I think it's Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher. He says, when you want something as bad as you want to breathe, that's when you will accomplish it. And that is the Seven of Wands. It's basically like when you want something bad enough that it's like a breath, that's when you will be successful. So, this would be about kind of developing that type of mindset so that you can really accomplish whatever the star is. Next, in the area messages from your future self, you have this koala spirit. It says spirit has a plan. You have this bobcat. It says life is a mystery. Yes, it is. So I feel like there is a plan. The moon is a plan, kind of, because the moon is a journey. It's part of the fool's journey, and it's a mystery. The moon literally represents fears, fantasies, illusions, and mysteries. All those things. So I feel that maybe your journey has been mysterious, but you're starting to get answers. And I think the Spirit Has a Plan card says in the future, you will probably be looking back and you will be connecting the dots as to like what you're supposed to be doing, or where you're supposed to be going, or what you're supposed to be accomplishing, and all that other good stuff. You have the Temperance card, the Three of Swords, and the Moon in the area of messages from your future self. The funny thing about the Temperance card is that sometimes I feel he is trying to perfect his situation. He's trying to turn water into wine here, or he's trying to turn one thing into another. It's a card of alchemy. But he has this path behind him with this glowing crown. This is the path to glory, and he could easily get off on that path. He could easily start that adventure or start that journey, and he could easily accomplish whatever he's trying to accomplish. But it's like he has to, kind of like get going here. And so I feel that for a lot of you. I feel like this is saying it's time to like start that journey, or it's time to go on this journey of accomplishing whatever you're trying to accomplish. And if you do that, I feel things will go very, very well for you, instead of like delaying it. Three of Swords, the Moon. It's almost like saying it's time to start now. It's time to make your move. This is your opposite sign as well. Sagittarius shows up here twice, Wheel of Fortune and Temperance. So it might be a good time for you to like embrace some Sagittarius energy, like being more adventurous, being more spontaneous, being more happy-go-lucky, go with the flow, believing in luck, believing that you are lucky. All those things might be very helpful. You have the Three of Swords. Three of Swords can be heartbreak or sadness, but again, Three of Swords is about healing your heart. So I feel for a lot of you, Three of Swords is saying remove those swords from your heart so that you can heal. Three of Swords, we can, remove those swords by forgiving the past. We can do, like new moon rituals. By the way, I'm going to be publishing this video on the 25th. On the 26th, on Monday, we have a new moon. And so it might be a good time for you to like do some releasing rituals, or, cutting the cords, or whatever the hell you want to do. Doesn't matter. But I would do something with that card. You have the Moon. The Moon is part of the Fool's journey. The Moon, he starts here and he has to get down to here. and he has no clue how he's going to accomplish his journey. The lobster here says that you have to release your emotional armor. You have to be willing to be vulnerable to start this journey. The dog and the wolf, dog and coyote, whichever you prefer, they represent needing to tap into your domestic side and your wild side. The two pillars here are distraction. They kind of warn the fool to not get distracted on his journey. This kind of tells me that you are very close to the end of the journey, and if we see the sun, that would be great, because that would also kind of say that you're very close to the end of a journey. So I feel like the moon is saying don't get distracted. Again, you have some cards here. Didn't you have a card that said something? Maybe not, but I thought you had a card about confusion or something. But, again, I would not get distracted if you're trying to accomplish something. I would see something. That's what I said. At the beginning of the reading, I said you need to see something through to the end. All that Aries energy that we have, Gemini, in the astrology, right? And so the moon, the fool has to get from here to here. He has to finish his journey. And there's definitely something you have to finish. And again, I think that there is a big glowing crown at the end of your journey, just like on the Temperance card. So there is a reward with you finishing something that you're thinking about finishing. And here you go. With the Temperance card, you have the world. The world is an accomplishment. The world is an achievement. So if you finish whatever you're thinking about finishing, I feel there will be success or an achievement coming in for you. The world is about like putting yourself out into the world. So sometimes with the world card, we have to like put ourselves out into the world to get what we want. And I do think it would be good for you to like put yourself out into the world more with the Queen of Wands, Empress, the Star, getting more attention at this time would be very beneficial. With the Three of Swords, you have the Eight of Cups. Yeah, it's time to walk away from the past, for sure. I think there's something so much better coming in for you, and I'm pretty sure I've said this to you before, Gemini, that it's like what you're, if you are holding on to something, it's like what you're holding on to is nothing compared to what you could be receiving. He's walking away from those 8 cups because they no longer serve him. I always say the tricky thing about the 8 of Cups is he is walking away from something. Those 8 cups do provide him with something, but he would be settling if he stayed in this situation. So he has to walk away and head towards something new because it's probably going to be something much better for him. And that's what I would be doing, is I would be walking towards something, there's clearly something bigger and better that could be coming in for you at this time. And that's what I would be making my move towards with this 8 of Cups. With the moon, you have the 6 of Pentacles. Yeah, 6 of Pentacles is a good solution to the moon because 6 of Pentacles is planting seeds. It says if you don't know what to do, try a couple of things on your journey, whatever you're trying to accomplish, see what grows, see what doesn't, and double down on what works, plain and simple, right? So if you're taking action towards anything, just keep trying to learn what works. And when you find something that works, keep doing it, and then find something else. I know it sounds very simple, but people don't do it. So, I think that, this is all about kind of like iterating your way to success and, finding new ways of doing things and continuing to learn. The other thing I'm getting here is that if you are attracting love, I feel like you could be attracting something that is very well balanced, like very fair. I feel like there's a nice give and take here. It just feels nice to me, if you're meeting a person this month. There's love in the reading, but it's not like a majority love reading, right? So some of you maybe are meeting this person over the summer or something, but I think this will be something that stands out to you because it just feels like it's nice. Like there's a nice give and take. Maybe it's not amazing. Maybe it's not mind blowing, but I think it's stable. And I don't know why I feel like I need to say that. Maybe you're used to crazy relationships that are like all over the place or whatever, but I feel like this stability, this nice back and forth is a good thing. Can't make this one up. In the area of the good stuff, you have this forgiveness card. There you go. You have this communicate card as well. Yes, I think straightforward, being willing to communicate in a straightforward way is going to be very good for you, but I also feel obviously with the 3 of Swords, forgiveness is the answer to the reading. So forgiving the past, forgiving things that didn't work, all that other stuff will be good. But I also feel like communicating with any new people would be good as well. Also in the good stuff, you have the 2 of Swords, 3 of Cups, and the Knight of Cups. 2 of Swords can represent this or that thinking. But I always say it's my card of third place solutions. She needs to realize there's this island behind her, and that island behind her could be a better solution to whatever she's dealing with, but it's coming up in the good stuff, so you probably are finding better solutions to whatever you're dealing with. I would also say that if you have been stuck in anything, This can be a card of being stuck in a stalemate. There's no forward or backwards movement. That in the good stuff, this could say you're finally moving forward. You have the Three of Cups. Yeah, people seem to be very important for you, Gemini. I seem to remember that your past readings have really been saying that you could be getting, or, there could be a lot of benefits in working together with other people, or, kind of like teaming up with people, working with your community. Things like that could be very beneficial. So anything you can do to work together with people, I think, would be extra helpful with the Three of Cups, or extra beneficial. And that's what I would be doing with this card, is like, working on teams, getting benefits from your community, learning from people in your community. This is also a great card for celebrating a harvest. And like I said, I get, even though there aren't a lot of money cards here, if you have been working towards something that you haven't completed yet, it feels to me like you could be getting like a harvest from something that you are finally completing, which is great. You have the Knight of Cups. Definitely could be a knight in shining armor coming in for you if you're looking for love. So if you want love, this could be a very solid connection that's coming in for you. This could really be a person that sweeps you off your feet. I almost feel like you don't think this exists because Five of Pentacles, Five of Swords, the moon, but it does exist. So I feel that some of you need to believe in love again, or, this could also be a person that makes you believe in love again. So if you're looking for love, definitely could be a solid connection. The Knight of Cups is also your dream. And what I would say right now, with all the energy in Aries, it's like this Aries energy is where the rubber meets the road. We have to get started on things that we want to grow, or things that we want to create. And so I feel like if you have a dream, that you should start working on it, because you can make it happen. With the Two of Swords, you have the Ace of Swords. I think I said at the beginning of the reading that like everyone has had the Ace of Swords. We are in a time of truth, so we have to live our inner truth. The other thing is the Ace of Swords is laser-like focus, so we have to be very focused on what we want to accomplish, and if we are, we will accomplish it. But it's coming up in the good stuff, and the Two of Swords is kind of like an obstacle. So a lot of you could be kind of overcoming obstacles, or you could be overcoming a specific obstacle in your life with the Two of Swords, especially if you've been stuck. The thing about the Ace of Swords is that it cuts both ways. It can represent cutting one thing out so that you can have something better. So a lot of you could be doing that. With the Three of Cups, you have the Wheel of Fortune again. So we have the Wheel of Fortune twice. For some of you, this could be like a second chance in love. I don't think it's like a repeat person. I think you are just meeting a person, like a new person, that kind of, I don't think they remind you of the past, but maybe it just is a second chance at love, like true love, or, maybe you feel like you would never find your true love and now you are. So, I kind of get that feeling here. I also just feel things are changing for the better for you here, Gemini. So, just general improvements off of that card. With the Knight of Cups, you have the Page of Wands. Yes, going on adventures, getting out of the house, having fun. That's where you're going to meet people. So the Page of Wands, he just does things that bring him joy. And the more you can do this month that brings you joy, or the more things you can do to create joy in your life, I feel would be extra beneficial with the Page of Wands. And that's exactly what I would be doing with this card, is like doing something that brings joy into your life, or doing more things that bring you joy. And that's what I'd pay attention to with the Page of Wands. The other thing is it is a blue reading. I don't know if you noticed, but there's like a ton of blue cards in this reading. The Page of Wands would be about like doing more fun things in your life, and I would definitely do that. You have this February card, and you have this bull. It says, do not back down from opposition, show strength and fortitude. Yes, definitely. I feel that you need to charge through something. Like I said at the beginning of the reading, you need to see something through to the end, and that's what I would be doing with those cards. You have this bouquet. It says compliments from an admirer. Yes, but you're not going to get these on your couch watching The Bachelor, right? You're going to get these from going out in public, meeting new people, doing fun things. So definitely could be an admirer coming in for you, and it looks very good. Again, I do feel like very stable though, and again, I don't look at that as a bad thing. It's like chaos in a relationship isn't necessarily good. Yes, it might give you the tingles or whatever, but at the same time, I think that sometimes stability is a good thing. You have this club. It says someone will try to make you do something against your will. Yeah, I feel like people are very touchy right now, so I would be careful of people who try to force you to do things. I would just avoid them at all cost. You have this needle and thread. It says, a sincere wish granted. Love it. Wheel of Fortune, definitely can bring a wish or can help you manifest some sort of wish. So if you've been hoping and praying for some sort of wish, this could be good. You have this key card. It says successful outcome to problems. So yes, if you've had any problems, Ace of Swords, the Ace of Swords is above the mountains. All the readings for the month of June that I've done have basically said people are overcoming problems. So, I think this is just a very much a June energy that people are dealing with, but it's a good energy because, it seems to me like people could be having breakthroughs. It kind of makes sense. Tomorrow, actually, not tomorrow, on Monday, the 26th, or tomorrow, if you're watching this on the 25th, we're having that new moon, and that new moon is going to be very good because I think it's like the first new moon we're having after all the retrogrades that we had since November, and I think a lot of people could be overcoming problems because of it. But this looks really good here, Gemini. I like it. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your month.